Oh, okay. Let me make sure I got everything up and going on the YouTube. All right, we're live. Awesome. So, hello, everybody. See who we got in chat. We got Fly, Eric, Ron, Zox, Rainbow. So, we got a full house in here. Pretty good. I've got Christopher Hughart. Am I saying your last name right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you're running for which office?
District 17, House of Delegates.
Awesome. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about your platform?
Well, I'm trying to help everybody. The disabled, the elderly, the poor and impoverished. We have to fix our economy from the bottom up because trickle down hasn't worked. I want to help people who think that they do not have a voice. We have to give the voice to the voiceless. I mean,
Absolutely.
I go on a rant, but I figure you might want to ask questions.
Okay, so what do you think are the biggest problems? So District 17, where's that at? Is that around
Huntington.
Huntington? Oh, okay, so there's a lot of issues up that way.
Uh huh.
So where would you start? What would you do? What do you think is the most important problem to tackle, and how would you do it?
Right now, sorry, I started stuttering. We have made big strides and had a recent big arrest with the opioid epidemic. And so we have stopped an entire drug trafficking uh, ordeal system. We didn't just get the supplier; we got the supplier of the supplier.
Hmm.
So that's big news, keeping the drugs out of our area. But the struggle still goes on. We have to stay on this. But the education of our young people, I know so many thinking that they don't have a shot in the world. We have to make sure that they know education is a strong point. I have heard people say that you cannot get anywhere in this world with a high school education. My mouth dropped. Before they say that, like with college education, we have to like invoke a spirit in our people to let people know there is a better tomorrow. We have to fight for what we want.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I feel like that's a huge problem that we have here as far as we just set our standards incredibly low. You know,
Yes,
I mean, like we
and
just think that what we have is the best that we can do, and I think that we're capable of a lot more than that.
And see, that's a whole campaign. I'm not I'm not trying to plug my campaign website, but I don't even
Oh
have
no, go
a
for it. That's what you're here for. We want to know more about you.
I don't even have a Act Blue account yet because
Mhm.
my computer crashed a while ago, and I'm trying to get the one I have now. I'm trying to get that working, but it's GoFundMe.com backslash We Deserve Better WV because we deserve better because like they expect us to take what they offer and be happy with it. No, I'm very proud of the teachers and what they've done. Well, not just the teachers, but the public employees. I am beyond proud of everybody who fought for that. But the people in office right now, they kind of weaseled their way, and the poor and impoverished are being having to pay for that with the restrictions on Medicaid. That's not right.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Healthcare is another huge problem here. Uh, just what do you think is the best solution for our healthcare crisis?
I would love to see at one point have a universal health care. I'm a Bernie supporter, and I have ideas to actually have that happen. But it's going to take a lot of new ideas and a lot of innovation, and people have to go into things with an open heart and believe in it. But one thing to solve the financial crisis of our state, seemingly in a matter of 2 years, we can like cut our deficit in half. I do not smoke marijuana. If we legalize medicinal marijuana, well, then we have some becoming legal next July, I believe. But that's only pill, ointment, and lotion form. People need the leaf form.
Mm-hmm.
But see, to even further better our state, we have to legalize it recreationally. I mean, I personally, I don't smoke marijuana, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's 10 times better than oh, sorry, I'm under emphasizing that. It's much better than smoking cigarettes or alcohol, and those are legal. The only reason why it's not legal is because the big pharma has not figured out a way to keep their pockets filled that way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Especially when you've got people like Joe Manchin that have, a personal stake in keeping it illegal with his,
And
ties to myelin.
and his daughter, what'd you do for EpiPen? Like, I think that was
Oh
like
yeah, she jacked the price up by I forget.
$800. Eight hundred
Yeah,
dollars. That's not right, and I'm not happy about that. But that's like a crime against humanity for me right there. That just set me off.
yeah. I mean, it's basically holding them at gunpoint. Give us your money, or you run the risk of death.
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah,
yeah. So, I mean, are you keeping up with the Senate race
yeah. For the state or national?
for the national with Joe Manchin and all the craziness that's going on with Don Blankenship running and all that?
All I have to say is I support Paula Jean Swearengin.
Awesome.
Paula
Yes,
Jean. I
I
have
do
met with
too.
her several times, like closer to the actual primary. I have like little cardboard. I want to pass out to people, like little posted cards for her. I mean, I can go get one, but I don't know. I don't want to get off camera. But I mean, Paula Jean Swearengin, she has a great message, and we have a lot of similar ideals.
Yeah, I got to talk to her once at this summit I went to, and she was just really down to earth, great ideas. You know, pretty good history with activism and trying to make it better around here. So,
I,
what was it exactly that made you the straw that kind of made you run?
Well, I'm a little bit about my history. When I was 13 years old, I had a stroke and an aneurysm. Severe, the whole left hemisphere of my brain was covered in blood. There's severe pressure on the right side of my brain, causing more damage than the bleeding did. I had several grand mal seizures, which has left me physically disabled. I can't use my left arm as well, and I walk with a limp because my left knee hyperextends backwards. And you can't tell, but I am legally blind. I'm visually impaired. But ever since, I just like took things as it came, just like okay, this is what we're getting. But I started talking to a friend, Kevin Suddeth. He's from Chicago, great friend, and we were talking about politics. I was just like, maybe I should run for office. And then he like, why don't you? And then I cannot think of a reason why not. So he called me on it, and if I did not let my disability get in the way of what I can and cannot do, it's something I thought I realistically could do. And I have a will to fight for everybody anyway. I'm trying to make everybody happy, and we have to figure out ways to include everybody, not just those with money and the financial capability to support themselves. We have to fight for everybody to level the playing field. So he called me out on it, and I took the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, that's, I think the problem is, I've heard people say, well, this person's not qualified, or what has the qualified, quote unquote qualified people, done that are in office? They haven't done anything for us. I think that it's more about actually caring about finding the answers rather than just getting paid and told what the answers are.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
See,
I think that's great. And so, what kind of ways? I know that um, you mentioned like you were having some computer problems, and um, where you're, I guess, like a local candidate. Of course, funding is an issue. What are some of the best ways that you think would help in order to get you into office?
I need people to just know my name, share my name, just get out and vote. If people do not vote for me, if I can just get people out there to vote, whether they vote for me or not, I've done my job. I just want people to like not like be content in what they get. They have to fight for what they want. They cannot stand idly by. You have to push and fight for what you want. And people do this in West Virginia. They lose faith in everything. But I'm telling you, if I get into office, it's going to be a brighter day on the horizon.
I mean, I can only imagine what the state would look like if we actually had people in there that cared, that actually wanted to do what was best for the state. I mean, we have a lot to work with. I mean, like what you said, as far as um, legalizing marijuana. I mean, just that alone, what it would do for our state as far as funding and
That would
decreasing
take
drugs
that,
and stuff. I mean,
that would
it would
take our
be a
state
huge help.
out of debt in a matter of years. I think we have like a last I heard it was like $13 billion deficit. And I think Colorado in their first year alone had a surplus of $4 billion due to the taxes on marijuana. So in like 5 years, we could have a surplus, and our state could thrive rather than just try to survive.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. I mean, just we've been surviving here for so long that we're just kind of like stuck in this loop of survival. I mean,
Yeah, people have become complacent with barely getting by. It's time for us to stand up, push back, and fight for what we deserve, and no longer just say, "Okay, this is fine. I don't want to ask for any more." Fight for what you want. Push back. Don't be afraid to be heard.
well, I mean, so far it sounds like you've got a pretty good platform. Your priorities seem to be aligned with what we need and what we want. So what kind of events, what kind of outreach have you been doing in order to reach the public so that way they know your name and know to vote for you?
Well, I had one event at Shoney's, which is now closed down, believe it or not. That's the only kind of campaign event, like just saying, "Hey, I'm here." But I've also been a part of the West Virginia Women's March. I've been very active. I've made trips. Huh. I was up there at the White Sulphur Springs protesting against Trump coming to our state. I'm sorry if I lose anybody's interest there, but that's a bad guy. but I'm as active as I stuttered again. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
I,
fine.
I'm as active as I can be,
Hmm.
and I mean, I'm the kind of guy who says hello to everybody anyway. And if I don't always give out my card, but I'm just like, hey, I'm running for office. If you want changes, my name is this and Christopher Hughart. I give out my card. I also ask what bothers them the most. What do people care about? Because it's not about what I want to fix or what I want to change. It's about what the people want to see happen.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a really good way of going about it because I mean unless you know what's wrong, I mean you can't go about going and fixing it. I mean I think that's what I don't distraction, but I feel like a lot of times around here these politicians will do these just silly laws that just they hurt more than they do good, but like they're just trying to save face with like I don't know.
It hurts the
They throw women
people.
under the bus here all the time,
It
getting rid
hurts
of
the
the
people.
women's commission and all that. I mean,
It
just stuff
hurts the
like that.
people. It helps their pockets.
Hmm.
But don't worry.
And so, who are you running against?
Chad Lovejoy, he's a delegate in there now, and Jeanette Rousey.
Okay. Are they Democrat or Republican or?
Oh, those are both Democrats.
Mhm. Well, it doesn't really matter much around here, does it? With the Democrats we've got.
well, I mean, there are two running in the for Republican, and there are three running in the primary as Democrat, but only two can make it to the main election.
Mhm.
So I need votes so I can get to the next stage. But I don't agree with everything that from the other two candidates. We get along great. We're friends,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just I feel like pushing me forward or helping me get to get my foot through the door. I think I could do a great thing for the state.
Yeah, yeah. We've got to do something different. I feel like we keep going back and forth with the Democrats and the Republicans. You know, just caught in between basically two parties that don't really have any differences between them, especially around here.
Because
So,
see,
what made you? Oh, go ahead.
my idea on that, we have come to a point where we have career politicians.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, yes, Republicans said this first, but I'm going to reiterate. We need a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We have to have people who are not lifelong politicians. We have to have people who care about the everybody, not just making the almighty dollar. We have to fight for everybody, regardless.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to check in with chat and see. There's some questions. Okay.
Be nice, y'all.
Okay, the fly wanted to know. He's got two questions. The first one is, what is your vision for cleaner water in West Virginia?
I would love to see that happen. I don't have any exact answers, but I'm all for the clean water. I have been to several OVEC meetings. We have to figure out ways to purify our water because there's too much in there. I had asked questions about that, but the only answer I was given is just like, well, nothing we can do. I would love to see us have cleaner water sources, and the polluting of our waters is not good. The Ohio River is one of the nastiest rivers in the nation. That we can't have that. I have seen ideas about machines cleaning the river, but like we are like the back end of America's thoughts right now. We have to strive to push forward. I want to see clean water at all capabilities. No, and I don't want us to be like Flint, Michigan. I'm sorry for those people, but we don't need the dirty water, the iron in the water. We have to have clean water resources.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just saw a woman on Facebook that said that she hasn't had clean water in 14 years. She has to go and carry bottles of water. I think it was about half a mile to her house daily, or whatever it was that she went to the store, that she would have to carry all this water, and because she hasn't had water in 14 years. And there's some people that's never had it. I mean, it is a huge crisis, and it's not just here, but I mean, when you look all across America, me and one of my buddies from on the show, Snork, has been working on ways of getting clean water here. Um, so it's and he's been looking all across, the statistics across America. California, they have terrible. I mean, it used to be the joke was, or not a joke, but the warning was like, okay, well, when you go to Mexico, don't drink the water. Now that's America now. When you go to America, don't drink the water because it's God only knows what's in it.
Yeah.
I think there are ways of cleaning up the water as far as like coal. I know we have so many spills and chemical um, things that happen. Leaks with the coal.
No,
Um,
coal and chemical. If there's a leak, the people should not have to be paying for the cleanup. That should be on the coal companies themselves. If it's their mistake, they need to fix it, and that includes the pollution of the water. If you don't have an idea how to do it, then you don't need to be working your business there. You have to figure out ways in any situation to fix a wrong.
mhm. Well, I mean that's it. Okay, so that leads me to a question about Jim Justice. Now he's been, well, and he's not the only one, of course, but he's been exploiting some of these loopholes about leaving mines idle so he doesn't have to do the cleanup. And this is here, he does it in Virginia and all these other places. Would you see to ending those loopholes,
Yes.
or what would you do in order for, like, regulation wise? And I hate the word regulation because it's such a bad word around here, but it's a safety protocol that we need in place for when these companies come in. If they have something dangerous, um, they need to make sure that they're not hurting people with that. Same thing that we do with guns and cars and things like that. If you have the potential to hurt somebody, there has to be regulations on that. So, like,
And they have to be personally held accountable. They can't just say
yes,
they can't just say, "Oh, these people just work for me." But I don't see this issue personally, because I think Blankenship tried to say that, just saying like, "Oh, I didn't see it, but it's his company. He should know about every aspect of their company." Same for Jim Justice. If you cannot like have a safe work environment, if you cannot like follow the law with regulations, you don't need to have those companies. I would like to see like a three strike rule, where like have so many violations and then they have to vacate the premises. I want the state to
that
thrive.
I like the sound of that, because a lot of these companies, they're repeat offenders. It's just cheaper to pay the fine and not worry about it. That's a good
That,
idea.
that's if you can get them to pay the fine.
That's what.
That's only if you're able to get them to pay the fine.
That's another point. Actually, finding them and having them pay it are two different things.
Well, heck, I'm sorry to call other politicians, but I think what Jim Justice won't even pay his taxes. Over $6 million to this that could go to the state.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, let me see. I think there was another. Oh, yeah. I meant to ask you Fly's second question, which is, what ideas do you have for growing the economics here?
The economics. We need like venture off away from coal, which people don't like that idea because you have to learn a new trade. But solar, wind, and just any kind of renewable energy, and back again to the marijuana issue. We can Marijuana can be hemp, clothing, just many. Sorry, I stutter because there's so much. Marijuana can help our state in a grand way.
Hmm.
Like cannabis, it's just medicinally. Just I don't know. Just there's so many thoughts running through my head about that issue. We have to have support. Like making clothing should be enough because that's an entirely different industry.
Hmm.
But like we could change our state and be a front runner in our nation rather than working from the back end.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot to work with. I mean, they want to dumb it down to where it's just all we have to offer is coal. But Snork, the guy that I'm working with the water, um, he was telling me about, we can, the way that the climate is changing and stuff like that. Um, West Virginia would be a great place to grow black pepper. Uh, what was it? Chocolate was another one. There was a couple of different, coffee, I think, was one, or I might have that wrong. I'll have to double check. I'll send it to you on Facebook. But anyway, I
Yeah.
mean, there's just so much potential. Agriculture. I mean, we have a beautiful state. As far as like
And with
tourism
the
and
with
stuff
the
goes, I mean, the possibilities are really endless if we want to work for it.
with the mountaintop removal, like those the flat tops of the mountains, that's some great fertilizer. Like, and there's plenty of area. I think Senator Ojeda has even mentioned it. Cultivate those fields. I mean, that's some of the best soil in the nation, but they're not using it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're not using everything that we have to our advantage.
Because our citizens and our society has become so complacent in what we have gotten, and they're scared to fight for what we deserve.
Okay, yeah, Snork's in the chat. He said coffee was one of them.
Or
So
Trump would say
there's a lot of
coffee.
possibilities right there, but the problem is our water is garbage, our air, our soil, everything we have here is just after decades of all this pollution, it's catching up to us.
Yes, I think it's catching up to areas all over the country, all over the world.
Oh,
But
oh yeah, we're definitely not special in that sense. I mean, this is yeah.
but yeah, I get what you're saying. I would try to push and figure out every aspect possible because like I said, I want to help everybody, not just myself, not my own personal interests.
Mhm.
I'm all for clean energy. I have a friend, Mark Connolly. He's in the OVEC, and I went to one event with him, and I plan to go to several more. I want to see this area thrive rather than fall backwards even further.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay. So is there I'm gonna post when this video goes up on YouTube, I'm gonna post the links to your GoFundMe and stuff underneath it. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about or to add? I'm gonna double check on chat, make sure there's no more questions, because that tells you we keep it about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's see. My main issue. Well, I'll read through my issues on my flyer. Uh, like equal pay, women and the disabled are being drastically underpaid for the same amount of work. Women's rights. As I said, I'm part of the Women's March. There, women deserve a heck of a lot of credit for the work that they do and for the people that they are. The roads and infrastructure in our state appalling. Roads are breaking. There are potholes. I think at one point on a bridge there was a pothole. You can see all the way through
oh my gosh, that's bad.
it. Yeah, and like we need to figure out a way to bring businesses here. We need economic growth other than retail and coal mining industry.
Mm-hmm.
We have to figure out a way to fight the opioid epidemic. I'm strong. I do not do drugs. I rarely ever drink. I don't smoke cigarettes at all. We creating jobs in that. We need to strengthen and show our kids that we have faith in them and strengthen our educational system. We need vocational classes. We need easier ways to get kids to go to college or further education, just training, so they can join the workforce.
Well,
I've
okay, you brought up kids. That's another. Okay, I'll just ask this one really quick. I feel like as a parent and as somebody that grew up here, like basically, I feel like we're just sacrificing our youth here for nothing. I mean, for what? For no coal mining jobs, for pollution. I don't get it. Our kids' education is terrible. Our family lives are disrupted. There's all these kids that are in and out, like, their grandparents are raising them because their parents are on drugs. I mean, our families are broken.
it's all kind
The
of
economics, everything.
March.
I mean, like, what shot do our children have when our state is in this shape? So, like,
It's all
what
kind
would you
of
do to give
interconnected.
them a better future?
Like make sure that our teachers teach. I'm proud. I think they won their battle. I supported the 55, but we need to make sure that we have like great textbooks. We need good teachers that want to teach, not that just there for a paycheck. We need to make sure that they're teaching the right things, and we have to go all out above and beyond. And I would like to see teachers who have made a positive impact, and it's obvious that they're making a strong impact with the kids.
Mhm.
They need bonus potential. They need to be able to like say, oh, or just like we need to shock and awe our teachers to make sure that people want to come here. We need good teachers here. We need to support the great teachers that we have, and we need to reward them bonuses or what have you. I guess they're different. That's a different issue in itself. But we need to explore all avenues to let our public workers and our teachers, because I had to include, I'm trying to include them all.
Mhm.
We have to let them know that we support them in every aspect. But one of my strongest points that I talk about in my campaign is because where I have a disability, yes, I did not let it slow me down. I have a college education, but for so long, the disabled community has been forgotten about.
Mhm. Oh,
And
oh yeah. I've met a lot of people living in Charleston that, I mean, there's so many issues just coming and going. Even if you get disability, there's just so many, the pay and just all the stuff that goes on. I mean, it definitely needs
see,
addressed.
I'm trying to enable the disabled. I'm trying to be
I
the
like
voice.
that. I like that.
I'm trying to be the voice of the voiceless. There are some companies I can't remember who pay pennies on the dollar to disabled people, like maybe $2.60 or something an hour,
Mhm.
because they may use other resources. That's still not right. We
Uh,
have to figure.
well,
And the,
when I was in school, they used to have, and they would use the special education kids as free labor. And I
yes,
mean, it was. I mean, even as a kid, like you just know that's wrong. Like there, when all the other kids are sitting there and eating lunch, after they're done, they would have them come in and wipe down the tables and sweep and mop. They said it was job training, but that's humiliating, and and they should
that's
never have had to have gone through that.
that's what I call that's child abuse to me.
Yeah, I mean that's just, I mean that's ridiculous. I mean, but
But
that kind of thing goes on, and what they're using them for free labor. I mean,
but
it's
also, that I promise you, if I can fight it, that will stop. But one thing that really hurt my heart, there's a delivery guy, and his brother, elderly, was a pizza delivery. Sorry, I got mixed up. The delivery guy had a brother that rides the buses around here all the time, but there wasn't a curve ramp or curve grade at the one stop, so he had to ride his wheelchair down to the other stop. He didn't make it. The man was hit and killed by a car,
oh my gosh,
and the brother told me about it. Said that the driver got away with it
oh
because
my gosh,
they had good insurance, and they claimed that they thought the person was a bag of trash.
wow.
It broke my heart, and he's one of the inspirations that inspire me to fight for everybody. And I had seen pictures. Chad Lovejoy that had looked into it. He has taken pictures and of the curves and everything. I might have a few I could share with you later, but I haven't heard much being done saying, "Oh, we have to wait until whatever." Why? Because it doesn't affect you. I want to be on the forefront and fighting for the disabled community, fighting for those who don't think that the voice matters.
Well, that's a significant portion of our state too. Is people that have been injured, they're on disability. I mean, we also have a large, elderly community that, I mean, like we need. I mean, this is a huge. This isn't like something that can be ignored. I don't think, and it's easy to do when you don't know. I mean, because if you are able, you don't sit there and think about ramps and things like that, but it's something that we do need to start thinking about.
But see, if it doesn't affect them, they don't care. If
Yeah,
you
exactly.
if you bring it to their attention, they're like, I guess they have a guilty consciousness, and then they're speechless. They don't know what to say. Find your voice. Help the community. We are people too.
Hmm. Exactly. All right.
Sorry, I was getting
No, no,
heated.
I love political rants. I live for those. So
Oh,
feel free.
I'm a nerd. I can't help it.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up here. James Manitalk is going live, and I'll be over there. And it was really great having you on. It's always fantastic to meet somebody locally that I can click with politically, that isn't, bought and paid for. So if you ever want to come back on and we can talk some more, Just, anything to help you out, because it sounds like, you've got a really great platform.
Hey, I just want you to know I'm fighting for you and the people watching. I'm fighting for you. The people not watching. I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for everybody. I want the needs of the people to come before my own.
Fantastic. All right. So I think those are pretty good words to end with. Thanks for coming, and thanks everybody for watching and all your questions, and we'll see you
Thank
next
you.
time.